Welcome back everyone, this is Lavinia from Bugsang, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to work on Eclipse CDT managed projects with ECLAIR 3.10, fixing violations within the IDE. This video is part of a mini-series dedicated to this demo project here. This demo is in fact very popular among our customers because it can very easily be adapted to any Eclipse CDT managed project. You can download this demo from our issue tracking system, which is accessible to all our customers and prospects in evaluation. For convenience, we're going to run a build with an Eclipse-based IDE to then fix violations directly within the IDE. The same process can be done by running the build from either shell or GUI on different projects. So let's open the IDE in which we're going to perform the analysis, and let's fix a few violations. So let's proceed with the activation of our plugin to launch and connect to our ECLAIR Report server. Let's click on the console section to see the outcome of our plugin activation. The message, "A client connection successful," will confirm that our IDE has been successfully connected to ECLAIR Report server. Let's now select the desired analysis. In this case, since we want to generate ODT reports, we choose ECLAIR Final and run the analysis of a project. Let's go and have a look at the ODT report, which contains all relevant information concerning the analysis we just run. As you can see, summary is empty because it gets generated dynamically. So we're going to right-click somewhere in the white empty space and then click on Update Index in the menu to generate the summary. Now with control click, we can move wherever we want in the report through the summary. At the bottom of our report, we can find all violations that are present in our project. We're now going to apply a filter to isolate and see just the violations of certain MISRA guidelines. Let's create a new selection and let's name it Demo Services. Let's cancel all settings that were copied from the previous configuration, as we don't care about hiding any project violations. We can now change the filter, moving from a previous exclusion filter, meaning don't show, to a new inclusion filter, meaning show only. Let's set the condition of inclusion. In this case, we have to filter for service, so we select the service domain and the services that we want to be shown. We can see the connection status in the little icon in the browser tab. If the icon is a little sun, it can either mean that the IDE has not been enabled or that IDE and browser have not been associated. In the latter case, we have to pair them manually in the IDE. By copying this URL in our browser of choice, we'll be able to associate it with our IDE. And the same URL works for any browser. Right, before we start working on the reports, let me show you a cool feature that is super helpful to understand the violations that we have to deal with. To make use of it, we need a copy of a MISRA C manual at hand. So let's copy our MISRA C 2012 revision 1 manual and let's open the ECLAIR installation folder, which for convenience I hyperlink to my desktop. Click on Share, Doc, Manual, and here we can paste our copy of the manual. We rename it so that ECLAIR can find it and use it, and please make sure that you enter the very same name I'm showing here in the video. So now we're ready to resolve the violations that we have previously filtered. So going over each one of them will show a preview of the code violating the guideline. With control-click on the file name, we will open the file in the IDE at the precise location of the violation. In this specific case, the violation is due to the call to printf. The return value of printf function is not tested or used. In the IDE, we can review the message and other data regarding the violation. This will help us browse through areas of certain report without having to move to a browser window. So in this case, there isn't much we can do besides returning 1, which we already do. So I proceed by tagging the violation. By replacing tag with safe, we report to ECLAIR that in this case the violation does not impact software safety. Of course, it is crucial to report why ignoring the return value of printf is safe in this case. Okay, so let's move on to the next violation. When it is not clear what the violation is about, we can right-click on the violation and click on Show Help for this service. This will open the ECLAIR manual with a more detailed description of the service implementing the guideline. Let's now take advantage of the previously configured functionality to quickly open the MISRA C book. Just click on the hand icon and you will be dropped at the right page of the book. As you can see, a violation of this rule may result in undefined behavior, which is a very serious threat to safety. So let's proceed immediately with resolution. In this case, the description of the violation is quite clear, so I will not go into details. We point the IDE to the main code area associated to the violation. Let me check whether this function is declared in the reflect.c header. If it is not, the problem could derive from that. No, the function is declared in the header file, so there must be a problem with the inclusion of the header file. So let me go back to reflect.c to check whether the header is included correctly. And bingo, here we only include standard int.h, so let me add the missing inclusion of the reflect.h header file. Okay, so now let's move on with the resolution of another violation. In this case, the violation concerns the essential types. Let's remind ourselves of what is an essential type by checking out the MISRA C book. As you can see, the violation of this rule too has serious safety implications. So the essential type model is described in depth in the MISRA C book, and it is not an easy subject, though it is essential to master it in order to work with MISRA C effectively. By the way, if you're looking for a training on MISRA C, Baksang offers an online training course called Effective MISRA C. So if you want to check it out, you can find the link to the brochure down below in the description box. And another useful resource is the video The Essential Type Model of MISRA C 2012, which goes in depth about the subject. You can click here to go watch it. But enough chit chat. Let's move on to the main code area of the violation. In this case, an operation is performed between a variable and an expression expanded from a macro. The variable and the expression have different essential types, so let us see where this macro is defined. The variable has a type crc_t, so to solve the violation we should either add a cast to the macro invocation before the operation or directly to the macro body. Assuming that the problem is in the macro and not in the operation, we cast to crc_t. And now let us resolve the last violation. As you can see, although we have already made some changes to the reflect.c source file, ECLAIR is able to relocate the violations in the right place, taking into account the changes that have occurred. This allows us to proceed with the resolution of various violations before repeating the analysis. In this case, the violation is due to the fact that we modified the data parameter. This violates MISRA C Rule 17.8. If that modification of data is not necessary, then it must be removed. Let us assume instead that the change to the data parameter is deliberate. The right thing to be done is to make a copy of it in a variable called, say, xData, on which we can then modify at will. At this point, we are ready to rerun the analysis. Once the analysis is completed, the page will automatically refresh and the number of violations is expected to decrease as we have resolved a number of them. And see, the violations we have resolved are gone as we expected. Alright, and that was it for today's tutorial. So just a little anticipation on what's coming in the next release of ECLAIR. The report filtering system will be much improved to make it even easier to use, and another cool feature will allow you to submit violations on your favorite issue tracking system directly in just one click. Curious? Well, we are working on many other new features for ECLAIR 3.11, so join our LinkedIn community to keep up to date with all our news, and subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell to know when there is a new upload. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching along this tutorial. If you missed the one on how to configure ECLAIR to work with Eclipse-based IDEs, click here to go watch it. I think the next one coming is the one on the use of our beloved demo here from ECLAIR GUI. So I will see you then. Thanks again for watching, guys. Bye!